Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay, 1 second. All right. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So we are on chapter 3. And we did the first 2 verses. And you remember that how Arjun had a doubt that Krishna Bhagavan was giving so much importance to man of steady wisdom and how samadhi will lead to that Brahmi sthiti and all that. And then Arjun said, on one hand, you are glorifying meditation and Brahmi sthiti, and then you're telling me go fight the war. Why don't I just directly do that? Why do I need to this Ghora Karma? So that was a confusion. And now Bhagavan starts. So just before I start, I want to tell you that Bhagavad Gita is a very subtle subject. So we should have patience to understand everything, because even though we identify with Arjun and his confusion in his head, but Arjun's background was that he already knew the Shastras. It's not like he had studied in the Gurukul, so he knew. He was very familiar with a lot of terms. But what Krishna Bhagavan is trying to bring out here is that a lot of those terms lose its real meaning. You know, hota hai na ki the God is trying to tell you something and you are taking as something different. So he's bringing this point that what is the correct meaning of everything. So some of the words that he uses, at this stage we may not understand everything about it. So we should be, don't jump to conclusions about it, number one. Have patience, and we need a lot of thinking and all that. And this Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga ka jo path hai na, he's going to start explaining. But it goes on till the end. In chapter 18, he talks a lot about Karma Yoga again. And the reason is, I think everybody needs to mute themselves right now, because too much noise is again started coming. So before I continue, what I was suggesting everybody, practice the mute and unmute. And if you're going to be moving around, because everybody's in the home, sometimes you have to leave to attend something, then try to make the video on, like there is a, how do I say it? When you, what do you, Meeraji, how do you say it?
Stop video.
Yeah.
So right next to the mute button, you will see a small button with a camera. That is your video button. So what Umaji is suggesting is, when you have to leave or move, please stop video so people who are in the group do not get disturbed by seeing you walking around or doing something.
So yeah, but you can still hear. So you are not muting anything. You will still hear, but people will not see you walk around. That's all. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
My alternative is that I just put it upwards. I feel...
No, this is fine. If you're not going to be walking around, this is great, because otherwise we don't know if you're talking to the air or you are there, So face is very good. Do you have to leave in the middle?
Is it better to just push it upwards rather than...
No, it's better to you stop the video and then walk around. Then we know exactly that you are not there. That tells everybody that you are gone somewhere and you'll be back. But when you just put it upwards, we don't know whether you're there or not. Okay. Just practice it. We can always change it, but this is a suggestion to try. Okay, so coming back to Bhagavad Gita. So I was just saying that some of the terms he's going to use, because the next two verses are kind of difficult, and he has used the word neshkarma. Neshkarma means actionlessness, but that word has loaded with what actually it means. Because if you just hear the word actionlessness, first thing comes to your mind is don't do anything, and that's not it at all. So he uses this word because he knew that Arjun was familiar with it. So we're going to try to explain, and Krishna Bhagavan also explained, but for some reason if you don't understand it, it's okay, because as you go in Bhagavad Gita, it will get more and more clear. And then the other beauty of Bhagavad Gita is this is not by any means one time read. But by reading one time, we'll get like 0.001%. You got to read it again and again, churn it, and every time you churn, and I was talking to Geeta Garg last time, because she's very much familiar with Bhagavad Gita, that every time you read, it's like a big ocean that you dive and get few more jewels, So even my own teacher used to say that, who had studied for so long under Chinmayananji and all that, and she was well versed in Sanskrit and everything. I'm nobody compared to what she knew, but she used to say that, hey, because of study group, I get to more and more, because every time you go in there, you get more. So keep that in mind too. So, and the third thing I want to tell you is that whatever I'm bringing in over here, it is, since you guys are giving me this responsibility to bring, trying to bring what Krishna Bhagavan is saying. I am not pushing my personal opinion or telling you what to do or which path you should use, and none of that. But we all have to have patience and respect everybody's path, because if you get better in your own path, that's what is going to take you. You don't need to copy anybody. Don't need to tell anybody what to do. But, we can always bring out some drishtant, some, verses, some meaning of the verses, how you understand. All that is good. But nobody's telling each other how to do and what to do, because it's a personal journey. So after studying all this, you reflect upon it and see where you are and begin from there and enhance your own path. Does that make sense? Because sometimes, we get into argument, hey, no, you should do this. And no, none of that. Because he's going to tell you that it's like there is a saying in English, right? And Meeraji can tell me if I'm wrong. All road leads to Rome or something like that. Right? So basically, everybody's path is okay if they are doing it the right way. It will lead you to, it could be bhakti, jnana, karma, does not matter. And the reason Krishna Bhagavan tells Arjun the karma yoga is right now the best for you, because he had to fight that war. And we are in the same situation. We are fighting the war of a different kind every day. So it's like, hey, while doing your job, you can progress in your life. You don't need to drop anything, and when the right time comes, things start dropping automatically. You don't need to force to drop anything. If you act, he's telling you such a fantastic path, that whatever you're doing, if you do it with the right attitude, then when the right time comes, it will start dropping. But we cannot say, hey, I love to do all these things, but I also want to do this thing. That is like putting yourself in two different boats. But if it automatically drops certain things, then smooth sailing. So I think that's why this has so much importance. Okay, so let's go to verse 3. Now, a lot of you might have books. And even if you don't have the Chinmayananjis right now, you can have another Gitas, but it is verse 3 of chapter 3. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvivida Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Gnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So I'll do the Sanskrit word and then I'll tell you some few things about it. And the reason I like to say before I begin, because then when we read, it becomes very easy. That's one point. And the second point is that different Swamis bring out different points. So Chinmayananji brings out fantastic points, and then sometime when I hear other Swamis their lecture, then I bring out the points because they are also having very good examples and make you understand the whole verse better. Okay, so loke is in the world. Asmin is in this. Dvividha is twofold. Nishtha means path. And sometimes, the English translation doesn't fit 100%. You know that. The moment you translate, gadbad ho jati hai. So, nishtha, because a lot of you are Hindi speaking, kisi cheez mein nishtha hona. Meaning, this is what I believe in. इसको निष्ठा बोलते हैं. So, यहाँ पर path बोला है, but दो चीज में निष्ठा हो सकती है, तो इसमें या उसमें, and he will tell you what those two paths are. Pura is previously, prokta is said, maya, by me. Anagha, O sinless. Anagha is another name he gave Arjun. And this is also very significant. The reason he called him sinless, because in lot of different shastras, they said, जब मनुष्य के पाप कम होते हैं ना, तब उसको स्पिरिचुअल चीज़ों में इंटरेस्ट आता है. So पाप का मतलब एजिटेशन कम होता है माइंड में, दुनियादारी से थोड़ा मन इधर से उस तरफ जाता है. So that's why उसको sinless one बोला, because he is interested right now to listen Krishna Bhagwan. So each word has so much meaning, why he's calling him sinless. Gnana yogena, by the path of knowledge. Sankhyanam, of the Sankhyas. Karma yogena, by the path of action. Yoginam, of the yogis. So he's firstly here is saying Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. He's not saying Krishna Bhagwan is saying, उनको सीधा directly भगवान बोला यहाँ पे. So he is talking from the highest perspective because he's a substratum of entire universe. He's pervaded by entire universe, or that consciousness, or he's also, you can call it karma phaladata. All those things come into our self in us. So when he's talking right now, Krishna Bhagwan, don't confuse him with a mortal person. He's talking, and I think Joe has discussed this many times, that Krishna Bhagwan was totally identified with that highest. From that perspective he's talking. He literally revealed his divinity in this verse, but he hinted it. He didn't say it absolutely openly. Absolutely open is going to happen a little more in chapter 4, and the maximum it happens when Vishwarup Darshan unhone diya, 11th chapter mein. That is a maximum, but already hint de diya yahan pe. So, and he said कि जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ वो कृष्ण भगवान नहीं बोल रहे हैं. This was beginning of the cosmos. These two paths are there. So this is not something he concocted or did anything. These two paths have been there from the very beginning. And what are those paths? You can call them, just give the name Karma Yoga and Gnana Yoga, but it is basically, just remember this, and I think I've talked about this. It's like one thing, but it is divided into two. One is an earlier path, and one is a latter path. Okay? Now, as I've told you, where you are, you have to see it yourself. So you cannot reach that latter until you do this previous one. That's where you have to remember. So it's like the best example that our teacher used to give, that sometimes there is one long road, but there are different names of the same road. So if somebody say, hey, should I take this path or that path? Hey, it depends on where you are. Like in my house, there is a foothill boulevard that has 3 different names. So if I'm closer to my house, then it's called foothill. But if I go further, it's called turquoise, then it's called something else. So, hey, it's the same road, but where am I? That's where I should take it. So same way, just remember that. So even though he called it 2 distinct paths, and he's going to explain they're not really 2 distinct. It's one long road, but where you are, that's what it is. So the path of karma, the karma yoga, is the most, what should I say? It encompasses everything before Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasan. So there could be like all the yoga exercise we do, or tirtha yatra we do, or tapa, japa, all those things that we do that comes under karma only. And honestly speaking, even sitting in meditation, until you reach that state where you merge, it is still karma only. Like I think Joe was saying that too, that it comes under that, because you are trying to do all preparation for this meditation that we call it. If you think about it, that also comes under karma only. So karma path is very, very big. That's why, whatever you find conducive, you pick that, and follow, and then you will see your progress. It will happen if you do it correctly. So why did Krishna Bhagwan kind of say that these two are two paths? Because there are people, if you're, say, full of lot of desires, okay, and you have lot of ambition, which lot of us, especially when we came earlier in this country, we all of us are part of that. Lot of desire, lot of ambition, and then we also have impurities in our mind. And the impurities of the mind, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Matsarya, all those things. It comes from that ignorance or whatever, but that's the part of it. When we are born on this earth, we have a lot of these things. So when you have all that, then if you do karma yoga, so that means action, but with the correct attitude. Remember, we did the whole thing. What should be the attitude? Those 5 things and all. When I start doing that, it purifies my mind. So when it purifies my mind, that's where I become fit for Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasan. Because even Shravanam cannot happen without that. And that somebody might say, I have heard so many times, people go to some lectures and there are 100 people sitting, and 5 of them say, oh, it was so wonderful, and other 5 will say, oh, it was so bad, and they keep talking about negative, about oh, उसने ऐसे कपड़े पहने थे, वो स्वामी ने, वो उस कार में आया, वो ये किया. Their mind is somewhere else and not in what person is saying. So that's what he's saying, that even to become a patra for Shravanam, to a certain extent, your impurities have to be down. And then, reflection. If our impurities are not down, then we will project our own ideas into it. And we will project our own likes and dislikes and this and that. Will bring all that in, and we will not do a good reflection either, So mind has to be pure for that. And of course, for meditation purposes, so you need much more when you have to give the doership and all that. So that's why the path of Jnana Yoga starts with Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan, and all the preparation comes before when you do Karma Yoga. So that's how it becomes 2 paths. And majority of the people fit into the Karma Yoga. Somebody like Buddha Bhagwan, उनको इतना वैराग्य हो गया, उन्होंने सब कुछ छोड़ के चले गए, वो सब, that's a different state. So he did it naturally. Nobody forced him to do, but it came from within him. So within him, when the vairagya starts coming, that's when you are in that. And in olden days, they used to call it, pravrutti marg and nivrutti. Sorry. Pravrutti is when you do action. Nivrutti is when you give up, So it cannot be like a shmashan vairagya when Arjun was, or some problem comes in your life, oh, I'm going to drop everything. That's what happened to Arjun, right? All of a sudden, this task has come in front of all of us. Oh, mereko to vairagya aa gaya abhi. That's not a true vairagya. That's what Krishna Bhagwan is cautioning him against. And that's why Krishna Bhagwan tells Arjun that, look, I'm your friend. I'm giving you the advice. I think for you, the Karma Yoga is the right thing right now. I don't want you to drop everything and go. So Krishna Bhagwan didn't say, oh no, I'm your friend, so I will let you do what you want to. No, because he put the trust in Krishna Bhagwan to give him the right advice. So Krishna Bhagwan told him that, this is what it is. So I think I covered most of the points that were different from what Swamiji is saying. And then another last thing before we go into the verse is, when we do sit in meditation, we should have the ability to drop, all the action in the world for that time period. it's like, okay, I've done all my work and all with the right attitude. I keep doing that. But when I do sit, my mind should be able to separate it. Then I can go dwell deeper in meditation. But if I sit and my mind is still running, oh, this problem, that problem, and all that, that means I have to do more work in my karma yoga. So that's a good indication, that where I am when I do sit, because the best meditation can happen and it will become more fruitful if with your all the energy and all, you can drop the world and merge into the self. So with that background, let's start reading. Whatever I said, is there any question on it? Is it clear, the whole thing? Okay. All right. Who wants to read? Because some new people got the book or something, if somebody wants to. Nobody's volunteering.
You want me to read?
Sure, go ahead.
The Blessed Lord said, in this world there is a twofold path. As I said before, O sinless one, the path of knowledge of the Sankhyans and the path of action of the Yogins.
So before you go here, see how he said there are twofold path. And as I said before, so there can be several meaning of it. One is before could be, hey, what he said in chapter 2, right? Already said it. And there is a slight hint that Srishti ke beginning mein ye already tha. The two path, okay? Path of knowledge. For the Sankhya, we know that Sankhya Buddhi is that knowledge, enlightenment, okay? And the path of action for the yogin. So जो लोग कर्म योगा करते हैं उनको योगी कहा जाता है. Seeker बोलो, yogi बोलो, all those names are given to it. And Sankhya means that state of enlightenment. Okay.
Krishna was quite conscious of the entire scheme of the talk in the last chapter. After describing the Sankhya Yoga, he described in the following stanza the state of equanimity with which one should act ever in the world outside. Again, after exhausting his theme of Buddhi Yoga, he concluded with emphasis in the following shloka the need for internal mental equipoise for effective karma yoga. Naturally, Arjun got more than confused.
So here in this paragraph, Swamiji is just summarizing all the different things he said in the chapter 2, because we have discussed many times here that chapter 2 is summary of the entire Gita. So Swamiji is saying that because he went through the entire, and we also have discussed that Krishna Bhagwan, whatever he really wanted to tell him, he already told him in chapter 2, but in a very small doses, capsule form, very power packed. And that's why Arjun कभी knowledge की बात की, कभी कर्म की बात की, फिर भक्ति की बात की, तो थोड़ा confuse हो गया वो. Okay, हम लोग जैसे हैं confused, वैसे ही वो भी हो गया. Okay.
Again, in the days of Arjun, as even in our own times, there was a lot of confusion as to whether the path of action, pravati, or the path of renunciation, nivarti, was more acceptable. In all great textbooks of the religions of the world, we can meet with literal and spirited discussion upon both the ritualistic and the meditative aspects of the religious life and the ultimate self-rediscovery. Historically too, we find in the long saga of man, at certain periods, the life of action is glorified, and at other periods, the life of contemplation is approved. For the raw student, therefore, this is an endless confusion.
So he's saying that जो हम लोग को confusion होता है ना, वो is nothing new. It has been going on since so many millennia, and then he's saying that in the periods of history, sometime path of karma is pushed more, some other time nivrutti is pushed more. And we know that when we see the Puranic stories, सतयुग में लोग निवृत्ति मार्ग में बहुत सारे थे, इतने ऋषि मुनि ये वो and all that. And then by the time Arjun was born, karma yoga became very important because the society was such, and the way the society is now, karma yoga is like absolutely imperative, right? Because action to sabhi karte hain, magar how to do the right action so that I progress has become very important. Nobody can sit in a cave, most of us have to get out there and do our things, even at our age we are doing it. So that's why he's saying that don't get confused. It's okay, because that confusion has always been there. But I think the more clarity we have about the two paths, then we will know ourselves intuitively what we need to do. Okay? Go ahead.
To consider the path of action, karma yoga, and the path of knowledge, jnana yoga, as conflicting is to understand.
Wait a minute. It's competitive in my book. What does it say in yours?
I am reading from my...
No, what is that word? Like, read that sentence again.
To consider the path of action, karma yoga, and the path of knowledge, jnana yoga, as conflicting is to understand neither of them.
Okay, so in your book it is conflicting. In my book it's competitive, which is also okay. Yeah.
Same
Both
thing.
same thing. Yes.
They being complementary and to be practiced serially one after the other. Selfless activity gives a chance to the mind to exhaust many of its existing mental impressions. Thus purified, the mind gains such a flight and ethereal poise that it can steadily soar into the subtlest realms of meditation and finally come to gain the experience of the transcendental absolute.
So everybody understood that the path is not competitive, not what is the other word was there with you? Comparative, right? Conflicting, sorry. Conflicting or competitive nahi hai ye. It is complementary. So one thing leads to the next. So another example that one of the Swamis gave was so beautiful, that suppose I want to go to this mandir which is on the top of a hill. I have to go and do the darshan. Say Devi ka darshan. Devi ke sare mandir hill pe hote hai na. So I'm taking, people are taking different vehicles. Somebody is going on a scooter, somebody going in a car, somebody is going in a tanga, rickshaw, whatever. So they are going, so you use different vehicle, but when you reach the mandir, what do you have to do? We have to drop our vehicle and then go. Saying चप्पल भी बाहर छोड़ के जाना पड़ता है. चप्पल भी सब कुछ छोड़ के जाना पड़ता है वहाँ पे. So he's saying that the same way, you can take any path. Does not matter. And the karma yoga path is vast, because we told you that all the tapa, japa, everything comes under that, under karma yoga. So you take whichever path, but when you reach there, everybody has to drop everything and go into that final stages. But to get to that final stages, your vehicle has to be right and the direction has to be right. That's what it is. Example. Okay. So, okay.
Men belonging to foreign cultures find it very difficult to understand Hinduism. When they approach it with all their naive enthusiasm, they feel overwhelmed when they read of such a variety of paths and seemingly contradictory advices. But to condemn Hinduism as unscientific because of this would be a mistake, as colossal as ludicrous as to say that medicine is no science at all, since for each patient the same doctor prescribes a different medicine during a single afternoon.
So here he made it very, very clear that sometimes, because I think that in some of the other organized religions, they have a very fixed thing. But aise hi karo, don't ask too many questions, just do it. But Hinduism is not like that, or Sanatan Dharma is not like that. It is like, hey, first you say कि तुम्हारे mind का makeup कैसा है जी? If, as I told you, if you're full of ambition and you want to do this and you want to do that and all, कर्म योगा करो. और कोई कहता है कि भाई I love shanti and quietude and this and that, okay, sit and meditate then. Or do shravanam, mananam, nididhyasan. Because there are some children who are born, they are born yogis. I don't know if you have come across that. They are totally contemplative from the very beginning. When we read a lot of biographies of saints, some of them tell you that from the childhood. There is that one Swami from Hare Krishna, if you guys have heard about him. He's a Swami in Mumbai right now. Radha Swami, his name is. Anybody's heard him or anything like that? No? Okay, very interesting story about him. He was actually born in Chicago, into a Jewish family. And he said that since he was a young kid, he could not connect to the Western culture. And he didn't know what was happening to him. He would say he wanted to sit on the floor and eat the khana. And then he could not do all those things in front of his family because they said, what's wrong with you? So he would go in the basement and sit on the floor in Padmasan and all that. And then when he became a teenager, and this was probably in the 60s and all that hippie movement was going on and all that, so some of the kids would go backpacking and they would go to other countries. So he decided to go with his friend to Europe. And he said that he used to naturally meditate, and he didn't even know it was meditation, but he would just go into this, state of quietude naturally. So his friend was also a little bit like that, and they both went to Italy, and instead of going to the bars and chasing the girls and all that, they would go and find some gufa somewhere in Italy, it seems, in the mountains, and then they would go and sit there and meditate, And he said that first he tried going to the bar and all that, and because he was trying to copy other people, and he realized that was not making him happy, then he started doing this other thing. And then he said that he was sitting in the cave and he heard a voice and he got very excited and he came out of the cave, and at the same time his friend came out of the other cave, and friend was very excited too. And he said, I heard something in the cave, and the friend said, I heard something too. And they both told each other what they heard. So this fellow heard, go to India. Some kind of a vision he got, or voice, and the other fellow got, go to Israel. So they felt so compelled and convinced with that voice that they decided to do that. And then, so that fellow went to Israel, for not too far from Europe, but India was too far. He didn't have any money, and he didn't want to tell his parents because parents would be very upset. So he just hitchhiked, and it took him 3 months to make the long story short. He ended up in India. Somehow he had no money, but some Sardarji guy at the official, उसको दया आ गई उसके ऊपर, और उसने उसको क्रॉस करने दिया, India में आने दिया. And then now he's become a Swami there. So what I was trying to say, he was on the path of Nivritti from the beginning. Even though born in Chicago in a Jewish family, but his tendency was like that, But if I say that, oh, he did it, I'm going to do it too, I'll bomb at it, right? So that's what it is. That's why there are so many different prescriptions for different people. And it's perfectly okay. You have to just choose the right path. Everybody can reach there, taking their, proper time. That is, of course we have to make effort, but do the effort in your path the right way. That's why saying Hinduism is or Sanatan Dharma is very vast. It has room for everybody to improve according to what you want to do. Okay.
Religious men fit for spiritual discipline fall under two distinct categories, the active and the contemplative. Temperamentally, these two classes are so widely apart that to prescribe for both of them one and the same technique for individual development would be to discourage one section and ignore its progress. The Gita is not
Gita is not merely.
Gita is not merely a textbook of Hinduism, but a Bible of humanity. As such, in its universal application, it has to show methods of self-development which will suit the mental and intellectual temperaments of both these categories.
So is that clear now, what he's saying? That, that depending on our temperament. And that's why I was saying that we cannot say to somebody, hey, my path is the best and come and do this, because it's different temperament for different people. So but whatever path they are doing, they need to find how can I do it correctly and improve. So if whether you're doing yoga, pranayam, japa, tapa, and when the right time comes, you will drop those things and go into meditation. That's what he's saying, you know.
Therefore, Krishna clearly explains here that the twofold path of self-development was prescribed for the world, the path of knowledge to the meditative and the path of action to the active. It is added that this classification and careful prescription for the two different types of men has been in existence from the very beginning of creation.
So we discussed all that also, that this has been for always there. And remember, as I told you, that right now also he's just saying few things. Karma Yoga is going to open up a lot more in chapter 4, 5, and then 6. He devotes the entire thing to meditation. So if somebody says Krishna Bhagwan is only talking about Karma Yoga, that's not true. He gives a whole prescription of how to meditate in chapter 6. But before that, what is a preparatory stage, he's telling you right now. Is that clear to everybody?
For the first time, Lord Krishna is giving us here in this stanza a glimpse of the identity of the man who is the author of the Gita. If it were given out by the son of Devaki, a mere mortal who lived in that age, he would at best have given us only an intellectual theory built entirely upon the observed data. Observed data always have a knack of changing, and when they change, the final conclusions also must necessarily change. We have now 100 different political and economic philosophies and numberless scientific theories that have all become outmoded when the social living conditions, the economic structure, or the collected and observed data have changed in their setup or in their imperative messages. If the Gita was the conclusion of a mere mortal Krishna's intellect, the values of life preached therein would also have got outmoded and by now become fossilized.
So he's just saying that, as I told you, that here in this verse, he is revealing his divinity, because, and I think there was a little discussion in our chain on WhatsApp about Vedas, right? That Vedas are like not any written by any humans. Vedas have a direct vani of that, Bhagwan, you can call it, substratum, self, whatever you want to give that name, that it is revealed, these principles, these facts, these hymns, all those things are revealed to the saints in their meditation. And that's why they never take the credit. We give them credit, कि भाई जैसे कि गायत्री मंत्र विश्वामित्र जी को रिवील हुआ था, तो उनके थ्रू ये आया, तो हम उनको देते हैं क्रेडिट, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली from our mortal perspective, they have purified themselves so much that God thinks he's the right person to reveal this knowledge to us. So that credit. But actually it has come from Bhagwan. So basically saying that Krishna Bhagwan is not cooked up this story himself or giving this path. This is the fact coming from higher. Because the worldly theories, they change. And in this group, everybody knows. You talk about this current virus, they have changed it back and forth 100 times. Oh, it's spread like this. No, it doesn't spread like this. It's just vacillating and confusing everybody because nobody knows yet. It's a humanly, किसी ने experiment किया और वो उसको ये लगा and it was not perfect. Then somebody did another experiment and no, this doesn't happen because it has not come from the higher. The mortal people are trying to figure it out. So he's saying that this, whatever Krishna Bhagwan is saying over here, it is not by a mortal person, but it is, from divine person. That's what is said over here.
Here, he clearly says that at the very beginning of creation, these two paths were prescribed by me, thereby indicating that Krishna is talking here not as the blue boy of Vrindavan, not as the beloved of the gopis, not as the great diplomat of his age, but as a man of realization, a prophet, and a seer who lived in that period of Indian history. It is neither as Arjun's charioteer, nor as a friend, nor as a well-wisher of the Pandavas that he is talking at this moment. Perfectly identifying with the spiritual dignity in himself, experiencing his absolute nature. It is as eternal substratum for the entire pluralistic world, as the cause of all creation, as the might in all substances that is talking now. Transcending all time and causation in a burning conviction of the truth lived, he declares here, at the very beginning of creation, these two paths were given out by me as the two possible methods by which the active and the contemplative would seek and rediscover the eternal nature of their very self.
So I think Swamiji is here again and again hammering to us. And I think that's what creates the Shraddha in us, that, we should have patience of and Swamiji is going to tell in his commentary in the next verse that how in the beginning of his own journey, he was doubting these words and saying, it can't be, and he was very upset that, Vedanta is saying these kind of things. That's not possible. And then soon he realized, as he said, as he studied further, oh my God, now I understand what it is. There is a reason behind it. And this is the reason. And once he knew the reason, he had absolutely no doubt. So he's just telling us that, have the Shraddha to listen to Krishna Bhagwan, because whatever he's saying is divine. And that is the bottom line he's saying. So if we are having a doubt, it's okay to have a doubt, but keep that Shraddha with it. Otherwise, we will bring our own stuff, argue, and no, it's not like this, it's like that. So we have to keep our opinion a little bit in the background and listen to what Krishna Bhagwan is saying with open heart. That's why he said so. He hammered it so much that it is not that Krishna Bhagwan, the charioteer, is not the blue boy of Vrindavan. It is Bhagwan talking, Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we can go to the next one. Any question on this whole thing? Because it is a little bit complicated, so that's why I took kind of so long. Because if we have the right background, then we can move forward. Otherwise, we had the confusion about it. Kamlaji is back. Were you listening, Kamlaji? Sorry, what? We can't hear you.
She's mute. I was listening all the time.
Okay. So does that make sense for everything over here? Whatever we said?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go to the next one.
The path of action is the means to an end.
Yeah.
Not directly, but only as a preparation for the path of knowledge. Whereas the latter, which is attained by means of path of action, leads to the goal directly without extraneous help. To show this, the Lord says.
So we already discussed that the path of action is a means to an end, not directly, but a preparation for the path of knowledge. Knowledge we cannot avoid. Okay? So, but to gain that knowledge, we need to go through this path of action. Okay? So the next verse. न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यस्य नादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति. न is not, karmanam of action, anarambhat by non-performance. So see this word arambha karna. Everybody knows arambha karna, right? To begin something. No arambhat means not to start something. Okay, so means not doing something is किसी चीज को आरंभ ही मत करो. That's called not doing. Naishkaryam, actionlessness. This is an absolutely loaded word. But he used it over here because he knew that Arjuna knew this word, but he was confused about what it means. And I think that Joe always talks about akarma mode, right, Joe? So Naishkarmya is that akarma mode. And it also another name for that state in samadhi, where you are merged with the higher. So when you are merged with the higher, you at that the person who is in that state knows whatever he does, he's not the doer. All of you have heard the word akarta, that akarta bano, or or not be a doer and all that. So akarta means I am doing action fully realizing that I'm nothing in this world, meaning my mind, body, intellect, nature is doing, but I'm seated in that higher self, which is akarta. In other words, when we see attributes of the Brahman, what do we say? That Brahman is eternal, and it doesn't get involved in the world. How do I say it? It doesn't get affected by the world. Remember, we talked about waves and the ocean. If the waves die, do the oceans